I am concerned this administration is purposely escalating the situation with this step and politicizing our armed forces in the process. Let's call it for what it is. It's political theater. Hegseth, are the Marines in Los Angeles ordered to protect property by any means necessary?
I would say the ICE officers and police officers being attacked is not political theater. The National Guard and Marines,
just yes or no. Just yes or no.
The National Guard and Marines have the full authority to protect federal ICE agents.
Yes or no. Can you just say yes or no? This isn't Fox anymore. Just yes or no. You know what? I'm not going to waste my time anymore. You're not worthy of my attention or my questions. You're an embarrassment to this country. You're unfit to lead. And there's been bipartisan members of Congress that have called for your resignation. You should just get the hell out and let somebody competently lead this department.
Mr. Chairman, we hit on.
That was California Congressman Salud Carbajal, a Marine Corps veteran, speaking to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on June 12, 2025, during a House Armed Services Committee hearing on the Pentagon budget. This exchange stands out because Carbajal pressed Hegseth on 4 concrete issues: the deployment of Marines and National Guard forces to Los Angeles, the signal group chats that included classified strike timing, continued U.S. support for Ukraine, and whether political allegiance to the president had become a requirement for serving in the Department of Defense. Watch how the questions tighten and how Hegseth responds when pressed for direct answers. The footage itself is the main evidence. If this is the kind of unfiltered congressional breakdown you want more of, hit the like button right now so the algorithm actually pushes it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It shouldn't come as no surprise that I have serious concerns with both the deployment of the National Guard and the Marines to Los Angeles. I served in the Marine Corps. We are trained to be war fighters, not for crowd control. Everyone here should be alarmed that the president has sent armed forces into a city against the wishes of a governor and mayor. I am concerned this administration is purposely escalating the situation with this step and politicizing our armed forces in the process. Let's call it for what it is. It's political theater. Hegseth, are the Marines in Los Angeles ordered to protect property by any means necessary?
Sir, I would say the ICE officers and police officers being attacked is not political theater. The National Guard and Marines,
just yes or no. Just yes or no.
The National Guard and Marines have the full authority to protect federal ICE agents.
Yes or no.
Can
you just say yes or no? This isn't Fox anymore. Just yes or no.
They're there to protect federal agents and federal.
Another BS answer. Under the SRUF, the use of force, are Marines allowed to fire warning shots?
No.
Now that's more like it. Isn't that easy? Well, I'm going to beat this drum because you refuse to take responsibility. Will you take responsibility for having made a mistake? Not to mention many people would say break the law in participating in the Signal group chat that included a journalist, your wife, your brother, where classified information was shared.
Sir, every way I communicate is authorized.
Okay, if you want to say that. I have called for your resignation. I didn't think you were qualified before your confirmation, and you have done nothing to inspire confidence in your ability to lead competently. You broke the law in sharing classified information, and in doing so, endangered the lives of our service members that you are responsible for. Your inability to hold yourself accountable makes you incapable to lead. This alone makes you unfit to be the Secretary of Defense.
2 things are worth noting in that stretch. First, Carbajal is deliberately forcing yes or no answers on the rules of engagement for the Marines in Los Angeles. When Hegseth finally gives a clear no on warning shots, Carbajal immediately highlights it. Second, the signal chat question is the sharper accountability point. Hegseth's reply, "Every way I communicate is authorized," became one of the most contested statements of the hearing. At the time, the Pentagon Inspector General had already opened a review of those same communications. Carbajal treats the refusal to accept any error as disqualifying.
Secretary, do you think the United States should continue supporting Ukraine in its fight against Russia, a nation that is hostile towards the United States?
Well, as you know, sir, President Trump is committed to peace.
No, I just want yes or no answers. Today,
The United States has spent billions of dollars.
yes or no?
supporting
Yes or
Ukraine
no?
over years.
Just yes or no. Can I get a yes or no out of you?
We continue to send
Come on.
presidential drawdown
It's that
authority.
easy. Kindergartners
Ukraine.
can give me a yes or no. Yes or no.
Yes, we support peace in Ukraine.
Come on. Is this really leadership? You're an embarrassment to the United States. If Russia invades NATO allies, are you going to recommend to the president that we fulfill our Article 5 obligations?
Well, Russia has not invaded NATO allies.
No.
Thankfully, President Trump has invigorated the NATO
No.
alliance.
I reclaim my time. Yes or no? It's that simple.
There's Article 5 in NATO, which we recognize.
So is the answer yes or no?
That's what Article 5 is, yes.
Good. I'm glad you brought yourself to saying yes.
Notice the pattern. On Ukraine, Hegseth consistently redirects to peace and past spending rather than giving a direct commitment to continued support. Carbajal refuses to accept the pivot and keeps demanding a binary answer. On Article 5, the pressure eventually produces a clearer yes. Article 5 is the Mutual Defense Clause of the NATO Treaty. A defense secretary's willingness to state it plainly under questioning carries weight with allies and with members of the committee who view alliance credibility as foundational. Carbajal uses the difficulty of extracting that answer as part of his larger critique of leadership.
Do you think political allegiance to Trump is a requirement for serving our nation, either in uniform or a civilian in the department?
I'm incredibly proud, as are millions of Americans.
No. Not today, Hegseth. Yes or no?
Congressman, you know what a silly question that is.
But silly enough
fidelity
to
to the
warrant a
Constitution.
very straightforward answer. Yes or no?
We all support and defend the Constitution of the United States.
You know what?
We're proud
I'm not going to
President
waste
Trump.
my time anymore. You're not worthy of my attention or my questions. You're an embarrassment to this country. You're unfit to lead. And there's been bipartisan members of Congress that have called for your resignation. You should just get the hell out and let somebody competently lead this department.
This is the decisive turn. The loyalty question goes to the core principle of civilian control of the military. Service members and civilian officials swear an oath to the Constitution, not to any individual. When Hegseth calls the question silly and declines a direct answer, Carbajal treats that response as disqualifying. The language that follows, embarrassment, unfit, get the hell out, is unusually direct for a formal committee hearing. It is also the moment that turned this exchange into the most widely shared clip from the day. Immediately after Carbajal yielded, a committee member raised the issue of decorum, and the chairman briefly called for order. That reaction itself shows how unusual the language was inside the hearing room. In the days that followed, the clip circulated widely. Some lawmakers and veterans groups highlighted Carbajal's points on the signal disclosures and the principle of an apolitical military. Others argued the questioning was overly partisan and that Hegseth's answers stayed within the administration's stated positions. The hearing produced no formal committee action, but it became one of the most referenced public confrontations of Hegseth's time as Defense Secretary. What makes this hearing significant is the clear collision of two views of accountability. Carbajal, drawing on his own military service, insisted that a defense secretary must answer directly on operational security, the domestic use of force, and the limits of political loyalty. Hegseth